Hey guys, you're watching B-Tech, I'm Basil. This video is all about the Huawei made Honor 9. Honor 9 is also going to be paired with probably the healthiest food in the world. Now that sounds hyperbolic, I get that, but the reason for this being the healthiest food in the world is I'm pretty tired right now, making videos with the awesome guys at Tech Radar. Check out the YouTube channel if you haven't seen it already. On top of that, I'm traveling, I'm going to the Honor launch, got a wedding late this week in Spain, and I've got some other work on the side. So loads of stuff need to be properly nutritionally sound. So I'm making Tabbouleh. It's an Arabic dish, but it's not just an Arabic dish, it's an Arabic dish with a twist because I'm making my own style. Parsley, more vitamin C pound for pound than oranges, tomatoes, lycopene, antioxidant. You've also got lemons in there as well, mint, and it's just onions, really tasty too. So giving baking a little bit of a miss today in favor of, like I said, what could possibly be the healthiest dish in the world. So check back halfway through this video in order to find out how you can make Tabbouleh for yourself, and keep watching to find out more about the beautiful Huawei made Honor 9. Right, so let's talk about the Honor 9. It's really similar to the Honor 8 in a lot of respects. It's blue, well the flagship color is blue. You've got a glass back and you've got a shiny finish. This time around, it just looks better. You've got 15 layers of magical on the back to give this crazy reflectiveness. And yeah, it also comes with a case in the box. Clear, transparent case so that you can still see that shiny on the back. As for the front, you have a fingerprint scanner with no convenience key. This is the first Honor flagship to not have a convenience key. Do I care too much? Not really, but some of you might if you're diehard Honor fans. Instead, the fingerprint scanner is on the front as opposed to the back, and this time around it is surrounded by two keys, capacitive back and a capacitive multitasking key. The screen above those is a 5.2-inch IPS display, full HD resolution, so over 400 pixels per inch, and on first impression it looks great. Down at the base of the phone you've got a loudspeaker, mono bottom firing loudspeaker, so it's still going to be pretty easy to cover up. You've also got a USB Type-C, which is good, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. This thing's around 7.5mm or thereabouts. You've also got an infrared blaster up at the top, so any fans of TV remote controls from your phone will be happy with this. Sandblasted sides, dual camera around the back. It's 12 megapixel, 20 megapixel combination. So the same we found on the Mate 9 and the Huawei P10. Unlike those though, there's no image stabilization or optical image stabilization on here, which is a bit of a shame. Suggests it won't perform quite as well in low light, but we have to wait until we get our device in for that verdict. As far as the screen goes, like I said, plenty sharp, looks plenty good, but inside it you've got Android 7.1, Emotion UI 5.1 as well. From experience using the Huawei Mate 9 for a long time and the P10 and P10 Plus, Emotion UI is very good at not slowing down too much. It has a more familiar kind of iOS-y look and feel to it than stock Android, so no applications tray by default, but it's very customizable, so you can bring back that applications tray if you so choose. As for the specs inside, powered along by a Kirin 960 processor with 4GB of RAM if you're in the UK. That's a variant that we're going to get paired with 64GB of storage. It's going to be launched exclusively on 3, that's the network it's coming on, and you'll be able to pick it up on Amazon as well. 370 odd quid is really good considering it's a fair bit cheaper than the P10, and the only thing you're really sacrificing is image stabilization on that camera. You also have a 3200 milliamp battery and expandable storage as well, so I am stoked to be getting this thing in, and I can't wait to review it. In fact, it's kind of giving me life, giving me energy, and that's why I feel really inclined right now to go and make some Tabbouleh. You only need to look at this thing for half a second to know this is going to be mad healthy, but I promise you it's going to taste amazing as well. You've got some lemons, spring onions, some garlic, tomatoes, and a whole load of parsley, and flipping it around, you've also got some mint in there as well. The top trick, if you get some fresh herbs, put them in some water. When you put them in the fridge, they will keep green all the longer. Now the first thing you want to do is cube your tomatoes, and in order to do that, slice down and slice down so you've got a quarter of a tomato. This is the best way I find to get rid of the tough bit in the middle. So you can do that on both quarters and get to cubing. In order to cube the tomato, I like to make 3 slices in each quarter, and then like to pick the quarter out again and do one slice down the middle. It really, really helps if you've got a sharp knife. If you've got a blunt knife, you're just gonna be pressing the tomatoes down. And on top of that, if you have firm tomatoes, it's gonna be easier and they will release less liquid, so you won't get such a soggy salad at the end of it. But as you can see, they don't need to be super fine. I quite like my tomatoes with a bit of chunk to them. Now that all my tomatoes are chopped, it's time to get down to the parsley and the mint. Now, ideally what you want to do is you will want to, like the traditional way is you pick out all the leaves of the parsley and you chop up the leaves. You wash them first and then you dry them. I have like zero patience. So what I do is I soak them, I fling them out so that it dries them, and I just lay it down like that and I get to chopping, because you know what? The stalks actually have a fair bit of flavor. They're kind of like oniony, and as long as you chop them finely, they don't get too annoying and like bitty. So you can see it's like chopped relatively finely, and if you just keep going and keep pushing the leaves in, making sure not to cut your hand, you will likely not get too much chunky stalk in and make a really, really nice tabbouleh. So I can get that all off my hands. I use the back of my knife to do that, obviously. I don't want to go and shear my hands, and I can get them in. So just grab like maybe for this amount of parsley, like 15, 20, maybe tops 25 leaves. The mint can actually be quite bitter and medicinal, so you definitely don't want to go overkill on the mint. Now we're going to get on to our penultimate part, the spring onions. These are really easy to sort out. Just create a slice down the middle and a slice down the top, and right, now this is the best technique I've ever come across for mashing garlic, mincing garlic. First off, as with any garlic, take the end off. That's not nice. Nobody needs that. Next up, with the back of the knife or the side of the knife, just crush your garlic so that it gets down to size, and then slice the garlic. Actually, a lot of chefs advocate throwing salt on at this stage. I tend to avoid doing it because I don't want to blunt my knife. So first cut the garlic like so, and then I add the salt. So add a really, really decent kind of handful of salt. What the salt does with garlic is a couple of things. First off, it flavors it. Second off, especially if you're using a wooden chopping board like this, garlic releases a lot of oils. The oils in the garlic have a lot of the flavor. The salt draws out those oils. So rather than those oils going into the chopping board, they will go into the garlic. So if that salt's gonna end up in your food anyway, it might as well do so with some banging garlic flavor. Garlic has something called allicin in it, so it's really, really super good for your heart. So again, between the tomatoes and the spring onions, which also have something that's really good for you. Also, parsley is really good for your breath. So it'll counteract the garlic by stopping you from being totally unkissable. And as you can see, that looks very, very different and pasty compared to what we had before. Now, a lot of that is on the back of the knife, and as you can see, it is kind of like oily. It's really, really good. Actually, like, just throw this into some olive oil and you've got garlic oil super, super quickly. And it has a much, much more intense flavor than garlic that you buy in a can. I could throw that straight into the tabbouleh, but what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna get a bowl and I'm gonna throw the garlic into there. And now I'm gonna start with the lemons. We've got all this lemon juice, all this garlic, and all this tabbouleh, and bam. So that's how I deal with life when I feel things are getting a little bit too hectic and I need a multivitamin in a wrap. Hopefully you enjoyed this Tabbouleh hummus wrap recipe. If you did, click that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Head over to youtube.com/techradar where you can also see my OnePlus 5 review. And if you've got any questions about the Honor 9, fire them in the comments section below. I will be picking one up, using it loads, so I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Be tech. It's really good. Bye.